Hello, BookTube. This is my June wrap-up and July TBR. First of all, cheers. And then I'm going to drink this one for Harlan Ellison, who passed away this past week. So I was pretty bummed about that. He was one of my favorite writers. He made it to 84 though, so here are the books that I read for June. First of all was the Star Trek novel, The Prometheus Designed, and Mark over at Richardson Reads sent me several Star Trek books, and once again, Mark, I really appreciate this or that. This was a 4-star read for me because I like Star Trek. You know, when I was a kid, I watched the original episodes, so I'm really familiar with all the characters, the camaraderie, and the love that they all have for one another. In this book, Captain Kirk's judgments in his judgment is in question, so Spock takes command, and they're dealing with the no-mouths. The no-mouths are the enemy in this, and like I said, Spock assumes command, and I don't do spoilers, but I guarantee you Kirk probably saves the day, because that's what he does. But I really did enjoy this. I'm not a die-hard Trekkie, but I really, really do like Star Trek. So if you hear anything, you know, Assassin's Creed Origins is going on in there, and the air conditioner. Next, Stories from the Twilight Zone. Sorry about banging into those empties. Rod Serling. And these are stories that were turned into teleplays and were part of the series. And to name a few of these, The Mighty Casey, Escape Clause, Walking Distance, The Fever, Where Is Everybody, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. And I'm a huge Rod Serling fan. Mighty Casey was good when it was about a robot baseball player. The Escape Clause was about a hypochondriac who wanted to be basically invincible. So he signs a contract with the devil. Then Walking Distance is about a guy who decides to try to return to his past, which, needless to say, doesn't work out too well. I gave this 4.5 stars because, like I said, I'm a big Rod Serling fan. He was a World War II vet. He engaged in some firefights, and there were 50% casualty rates in his platoon. And so the man saw some things and did some things. Next, Vic and Blood by Harlan Ellison. And Ellison, of course, one of my favorite writers. This story actually was made into a movie starring Don Johnson, believe it or not. I don't know how big of a star he was then. But the dog is the intelligent one, and they're roaming the wasteland, you know, post-apocalyptic scenario. And Blood and Vic, they communicate telepathically, and Blood helps him find stuff out there in the wasteland, and this female comes between them, a woman, human, and it's got a really great twist ending. And I always thought that Harlan Ellison, that Stephen King sort of modeled his writing after Ellison. I don't know if King ever admitted that, but I've thought that for years. So. But I gave this a 5-star, you know, because like I said, I'm a big Harlan Ellison fan. So if you haven't read Ellison, I recommend you check out some of his writing, because he was one of the best. Then I read this, Another World Called Ours, by Stephanie S.C. Dickinson, Lattes and Mockingjays. This was for Todd and Dane's indie read-along, and Stephanie had some good stories in here. My favorite was, well, if I can find my note, I know it's Rain and Dandelions. It's a little bit sad. And then there was one called The Jar of Earth, but I gave her 4 stars on this because I really enjoyed it, and it's pretty well done for an indie book, so check that out. And then I read Couldn't Keep It to Myself by Wally Lamb and the Women of York Correctional Institution. I saw this on Denise Cooper's channel like months and months ago, and Denise raved about it, and I said, well, I told her, I said, I'm going to give that book a going over. So obviously it's pretty sad. Let's see, I thought I'd give this 4 stars. Yep. Some of the circumstances and the events that led to these ladies being incarcerated, you know, it could be any of us. I mean, if we were dealing with some of the same experiences or situations. So it's really insightful. So like I said, that's 4 stars there. So that's what I read in June. Now for July. I've already started on The Golden Compass, Philip Pullman. Dane Cobain was raving about this book, so I told him, so I'll check it out, man. I already started it, and I'm liking it so far. So there you go, Dane. I'm on it. Then I'm going to read Children of Dune by Frank Herbert, and I'm doing this as a buddy read with Elena Makridina. She said she was really wanting to get to this book, and it's like, well, let's do a buddy read. So the continuation of the classic Dune story. So I know Elena, she's already started it, so I got to get on that. Then next I have Elmore Leonard, Mr. Majestic. Wow, so I got a brain cramp there. Lucy, sorry Lucy over at Bookaxe. She suggested if you wanted to learn how to write dialogue, read Elmore Leonard, and I had heard that before. So there was a movie called Mr. Majestic starring Charles Bronson that I watched when I was much younger, and it's a pretty good movie. So I heard he writes some great action novels, so I want to check it out. So thanks for the suggestion, Lucy. Then I have another Star Trek book, and this is one that was sent by Mark over Richardson Reads, Planet of Judgment. So I get treated to some more Star Trek adventures, so looking forward to that. Then we have Stephen King, Nightshift. I'm going to reread this. I'm doing a buddy read with BookishMel, so looking forward to it, Mel. And I think we're going to start this around the 13th. So, and then I have River Girl by Linda Jo Martin, otherwise known as the Book Lady, a fellow booktuber. And this is my July selection for Todd and Dane's indie read along. So looking forward to that, Linda. So thanks, folks, for sticking around and seeing what I'm up to. And there's the phone ringing. Might be for me. Thanks for watching. Bye.